We are live. We are live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining me. Oh my God, I am so excited. It's been such a long time since I've been live, and yeah, I am so excited. Thank you for joining me. Everyone here on Zoom webinar, say hello to me on the chat. Let me know where you are, where you're coming from. Let me know who's here. And if you're joining us on Facebook, hello, hello as well. We are here on Warriors of Light Show. This is the first episode. Oh, freaking out, excited. And yeah, we're going to have so much fun. So let me just briefly share now in the Facebook group. And if you're here joining also on Facebook, say hello. Let me know that you're here, you're joining, and you are having fun and you're excited. You're as excited as I am. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. We are live on Facebook group. Hello, hello. Ooh, so cool. We have here Tumi. Hello, Tumi. Hello, Dineo. Jumela Dineo. Welcome from South Africa. Hello, Waria Matakala. Hello, hello, Constance from Florida. Oh, so good to have you. It's been a while since I've seen your name. Thank you for joining me uh, on this launch of this show today. Okay. Wonderful. So good. If you're joining us here on Zoom, and primarily we will be focusing on having our conversation here on the Zoom webinar, just because it's much easier to be in one place than moving from here to Facebook. So if you would like to, to be able to have a conversation with me, to ask some questions, I highly recommend registering so that you can get the Zoom link and then you can be here with me, because that is where I will be focusing. If you're joining for the first time on Zoom, you should be able to see the chat box, and the chat is what you use to just have a conversation, comment anything that you feel like you want to say. You use the chat. And if you have a question and you want to get clarity on something, uh, either a question for me, or in the future a question for our guest who will be joining, we will be using the Q&A option. You can see it also in your gadget, whatever you're using to join us. And we will be able to answer the questions for you as we go along in the show. Yes. But yes, welcome. Welcome. Let me take a breath, because this is something that I have been dreaming of doing in a really long time. And finally, everything fell together, and we are here on the first episode of Warriors of Light show, which is I call it a masterclass series because I will be having masterclass dialogue with the different wellness practitioners, multidimensional, holistic, natural healers from all different parts of the world, who are mostly African, or people of African descent. I prefer saying that. So people of African descent will be joining me from the US, from here in Africa, and all around the world in the diaspora, where we have Black people who are here with the mission of healing ourselves, with the aim of activating in our lives what I call Black joy, activating liberation, freedom, activating self-care, and activating more than anything a return to our ancestry and a return to our divinity, which is the theme for today that I want to talk about, which is also the theme for the entire masterclass series, which is our journey as Black people back to our natural ways back to our ancient wisdom that our ancestors and those who came before us knew, and that has since been somehow we have forgotten these wisdoms. And so this is a reclamation. This masterclass series is us reclaiming who we are, reclaiming the wisdom that lives within us, and um, returning to this beloved divine self that is us, that we might have forgotten because of the experiences that we've had. So I hope you'll be joining me. I am your host, Joanne Khani, and for those who are joining for the first time, I always have a different title to describe myself because I'm constantly transforming. My current title is um, I've always been a psycho-spiritual healer. I've always done healing within the principles of psychology, modern psychology, and the principles of spirituality, African spirituality, and world spirituality. That is what I essentially focus on. And I am a soul activator. I really uh, will not even be modest, but I'm really good at the soul. I'm really good at understanding the soul, and just like the work of the soul is my vibe. And I do this work with different women who are primarily African women, but I'm also welcoming to work with other different races as well. And I work with women who are looking to connect with themselves, who are looking to connect with their ancestry, who are looking to connect with the divine self, and those who are ready to step into that soul mission, that soul's purpose, the blueprint that they came with into this beautiful planet as something that they are here to do in our blue planet. Yes. So this is what I do. And I am the founder of this show, as well as a couple of other series I've done, but the one that is still ongoing is Africa in Dialogue, which is also a platform for dialogues, conversations with African people, primarily African storytellers. And with this platform, we archive creative and critical insights, and we archive them in an interview format, written interview format, and you can check out our website, africaindialogue.com. I say we because as of now, we are a group of 10 young people coming in from 4 different parts of Africa, and our joy is to archive the voices of African people. This is actually my joy, really, always archiving the voices of African people, just because in my journey, I used to struggle to find people who look like me, who were having conversations that I was interested in, conversations on healing, on spirituality, conversations on creativity, conversations on our philosophy, our ways of life. And I then one day realized that if I can't find it, perhaps I should start doing something to create that. And so I have always been drawn to creating cultural hubs, different cultural hubs in whatever industry I join or I feel led to. And the cultural hubs is, I always imagine 200 years from today. I don't know what will be existing there, but I hope that 200 years from now, people could literally search for what was happening in 2020 in the world, and they could find something that we have done here, either the Warriors of Light Show conversations or the Africa in Dialogue interviews, and they can understand our journey, who we are, because at that point, we will be the ancestors. So that is pretty cool. So this is why we're here today. We are here to archive. We are here to archive ourselves. We are here to reclaim ourselves, who we are as African people. And we are really here ultimately because we are realizing we deserve to be seen, and we deserve to be loved up by ourselves, more than anything. and we are the ones creating our world, and so we might as well begin consciously creating our world, the world that we dream of. Yes. So this is why we're here. So cool. So if you're joining, say hello. Let me know. Um, let me know, yeah, where you're coming from. Sunela, thank you so much for reminding me, because I actually should record this, because these conversations that we will be having, and we will be having these conversations on uh, every Fridays and every Tuesdays at 5 p.m. And we will be having master dialogues, conversations with other practitioners, healers, and um, people who are here also doing that part in in creating spaces for us as Black people to heal, to come back to ourselves, to understand ourselves better. So every Tuesday, 5 p.m., and every Fridays. And every Wednesdays and every Saturday, I will be sending in the replays via your email. So if you would like to have access to the replay, you can sign up for my newsletter on Joy Mohani. If you go under series in the website, you should be able to see everything about the show. We have information about the show as well as the guests who will be joining us, which is something I will talk about in a little bit. But yes, so every Saturday as well as every Wednesday, if you are not able to catch the conversation live, you will be able to watch the replays. And the replays will be in a visual format as well as an audio format. So we are going to put these conversations on YouTube as well as a podcast space. Um, so that you can listen on the go if you're not able to watch us, because I am really, really interested in allowing us to have access to these conversations that we will be having in the show. This particular season, which is season 1 of the show, will be running from today until the end of November. So we are going to have 16 episodes, and those 16 episodes, some of them will be conversations and some of them will be solo casts, and we will be sharing the speakers on a rolling basis because we are in a pandemic, and it's very, very interesting for me to curate this while within the pandemic, because it's not as easy as as I don't know, any other year, because of time and because of where we are emotionally, right? So I will be sharing in our guests on a rolling basis. I will briefly share today on the guests that are going to join us in the next 3 episodes. Ooh, yeah. And you can join us live. And I will explain a little bit on how the conversations will be happening. So these conversations, my intentions with them is to play with this conversation, to have fun within these conversations, even though we will be talking about something that might be intense and serious because it's spirituality. Let's face it, it's very intense and deep. We will be coming in with an energy of activating you and an energy of awakening ourselves, especially right now as we are all shifting with the new energies of 2020, and we're figuring out ourselves, we're figuring out what we want. So the energy that I am uh, wanting to create is the energy of joy, of Black joy, of me. I don't know, but joy, the emotions, the feeling. Yes. And each episode there will be a different theme topic that is decided by the guest who will be joining me. And our intention is to help us look at different perspectives around healing, spirituality, and so forth. And our conversation will cover both spiritual, physical, emotional, and what is the last part I'm forgetting? mental, yes, the mental aspects of ourselves. And we will talk on things that apply on a personal level, a collective level. We will talk business, we will talk pleasure, we will talk all types of different topics, honestly. I have not put a limit to it except that I will be talking to practitioners and the different topics that they are interested in themselves. And more than anything, I welcome you as the audience that will be joining us to recommend for to recommend people we can invite into the show as guests to also recommend in topics you would like us to cover in our series, because it's a masterclass series where we are hoping that we could learn and we can shift and can transform while having fun. Yes. So these will be these will be recorded and they will be live on Zoom as well as Facebook. So the Zoom webinar platform, as of now, the one that we are using allows us to have 100 guests live with us. So if you are interested in being in the Zoom webinar, I highly recommend registering. Once you register, you will always have access to the webinar and you can join in or in any of the episodes as you feel called, right? So just want to put it out there that there's actually limited space of the amount of people who can join on Zoom. But if you're not able to join on Zoom Facebook, we will be on Facebook. And we will also be continuing our conversation in our community that is also on Facebook. The community is called the Tribe of Warriors, the Tribe of Warriors. You might already be part of this group or you are yet to join. Please join us. It's within that group that we will be able to continue having the conversation, as well as where I will also have extra activities outside the show. It will be within that group. So if you are interested on journeying with me and engaging with the community, come and join us on our Facebook group, The Tribe of Warriors. We are also on Instagram. We have a page on Instagram. It's called Warriors of Light Show. Please go to Instagram and like us and follow us and comment and all the things. We are everywhere essentially, and we're trying to make this a lifelong project that allows us to have a cultural hub where we can always have space for us to engage with our journeys as African people. Yes. Yes, so those are all the details on this show. Right. Um, I want to now jump into why I created this show and why is the theme the return to ancestry and divinity. 2020 in general has been let me put this out there for you, who is everyone who's joining me. What is the one word you will use to describe 2020? Let me know. What is the one word you will use to describe 2020? My word is a wild. 2020 has been a wild year. Then again, wild is one of my favorite words. I use it all the time. But if you're joining us, let me know what is the one word to describe your 2020. Because what a year, what a year. Yeah, intense. It's definitely been an intense year for sure. And it's been an intense year all around for everyone. It's been an intense year all around. It's been a crazy year. It's been a out of this world type of year. And for me, just getting a little bit vulnerable vibes because I'm kind of like the queen of vulnerable. It's been a year where I have felt undone by the emotional roller coaster that I've been on. I am only coming actually from a break because I needed time to process all the experiences that have been happening. I have definitely felt like I've been reborn and I've died and been reborn again and again. And each time I will go through what I call an ego death in particular. Um, my heart will be so broken and then opened up to what is true for me. And truth has been a theme for me. And I've been asking and meditating on what is truth for you, Joy, because the world right now feels like it's falling apart. It feels like we don't know what is happening, we don't know where we are going. And I found myself having to shift from the version of myself who always has plans, who always wants things to go a particular way, to then suddenly feeling like I don't know who I will be next week. So better not make any plans whatsoever. And I've also felt and moved through emotions of being so sure of myself and my mission, and then suddenly just not being so sure. And I have had the deepest initiation into what is darkness, what is the shadow, you know, and I try not to always use this word, what is evil, like I've had that initiation, and what is good, what is light, what is of God. And these are conversations that were so deep for me, that were initiated because it wasn't just mental conversations. It was about me being led to look at this from my own inner experiences, as in what is darkness inside Joy, what is the shadow of Joy, what is the evil of Joy, and what is the good of Joy, what is the light of Joy, and what is the of God of Joy. And I can tell you, of course, the dark shadow evil part of it were one terrifying, very, very painful. And I did not know how to navigate that. I felt definitely unprepared. And I've been told from the very beginning when I started this journey of spirituality that spirituality is a constant initiation of both this evil, shadow, dark, and good light God energies. You will always move between that and looking into that, because the purpose of you being in a spiritual journey, a spiritual awakening, it is a journey of cleansing of everything that is not you, so that you can return to your divine self, so that you can know God, you can know true God, right? Not as an idea or a mental thing, you know? And I've seen myself being taken back to the past so many times in this year, and back into the memories and back into my stories and ideas and beliefs about myself and about what I believe happened to me, and my attachment to the experiences that happened to me, the programs that I have about myself. Um, and it was a more of like, look, Joy, this is who you think you are. And then there will always be a voice that says, is this true though? That voice will be the one that opens me up. It will break my heart, because I'll be like, actually, I'm not sure it's true that I am not good enough. But how can I know that I am good enough in ways that is not a mental thing? That I have to be like, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, I'm good enough. I am tired of the mental thing. I'm tired of the affirmation. Why can't I know this to be true in the same way I know that I'm female? I never question that I'm female. I know I'm female, right? So why is this good enough conversation, worthy enough conversation, like a flickering, one moment I feel it, one moment I don't? I have been so pissed off at God this year, and so pissed off at my soul for putting me here, and my spiritual guides, and I have uh, abandoned myself. I have also returned to myself. It's just been a back and forth. Let me know if this resonates with you. Um, because yeah, we need to have these conversations, right? We need to have these conversations of what is moving through us right now. So for me, I've been going on that back and forth, back and forth. And I remember one night where it felt like all my ideas of myself, they were not grounded. They were very fickle. All it would take is one person to say something to me, and then I will completely doubt everything I believed to be true about myself. And there's that voice within me, which is the wise woman within me. And she was like, hold up, Joy. Listen, it's so easy to get lost in the stories of everyone around you because that is actually what was creating the instability within myself. It was because I was listening to too many stories, too many ideas of what is happening in 2020, what are we supposed to do, who you're supposed to be. All of these was really getting to me. And when I had the hold on moment from the wise woman within me, she said, this is very simple. Do you understand, Joy? This is very simple. Like you're complicating it. All of this life, it's about love. It's that simple, right? It's about allowing yourself to experience love. And when you do experience love, for you joy, it comes out as joy. Like it's your exuberance and excitement that makes you feel alive. And there are many things you could learn about the world and many ideas and knowledges you could accumulate. But at the end of the day, when you sit here, when you say you are not well, it's because you don't feel joy and feeling. And when you say you're good, is when you feel the joy and the exuberance. And that's all that matters because in the moment where you feel um, you're not feeling the joy, it is when you're separate from love. And when you're separate from love, you're separate from God. And when you're separate from God, you're separate from your divinity. And when you're separate from your divinity, you're definitely separate from your people, your ancestors, your loved ones, and then you feel like you're in a black hole and you're like, I don't think I could ever come out of this, you know? Um, and the question my wise woman asked me is, Joy, what is true for you, right? Um, and in that moment, what is true for me was uh, being a black woman. That is so true for me. It's an experience I know so deeply that it doesn't matter what someone could ever say about that. I know I am a black woman and I know my experiences that I've had as a black woman. Also, what was very true, the spirit that kept coming up for me when I was in that moment, I actually said, I don't even want to deal with any other spirit. But what was true, where I could lean in when I was having the worst moments and the deepest ego death, it will be my grandmother's. Right? There's a great grandmother of mine who is the last great grandmother who is the last grandparent of mine to pass, and she passed away in 2011. And strangely enough, I wouldn't say I was close to her because she couldn't speak Setswana. She's Galanga, and I can't speak Galanga. And so we have never actually had like a proper conversation because we don't speak the same languages. But I will always, when she was alive, I will always go to her in her house. She cooked for herself all the way until she was like 90 and so forth. And I will sit with her and my sister, sometimes my mother, and we will literally try to have a conversation. It was always so funny because we could be like, I don't think we understand each other, but we will all laugh, all four of us. And that grandmother, every time I was in that dark hole, she will come for me. And she will be like, Babs, you're so loved and you're so supported. And that's just like so powerful for me because I can't be sure of other things, but I am sure of my grandmother, my great grandmother. She's actually my great grandmother, my father's grandmother. And I see her when she smiles, I feel her. I cry all the time actually when she comes into like, hello. because I completely feel held and supported in that moment, right? So that was true for me. Like when the wise woman asked, she's like, I was like, her name is Mabangulani, the great grandmother I'm speaking of. I would be like, Mabangulani, that spirit, when it's here, I can feel joy in my heart and I can feel love and I definitely feel connected to God when she's here. I don't feel so lost. So that was true for me. And it was the memories of my childhood, the ways of our people that will always somehow save me. Not so much of like the future and what I desire, but more of like who I am, who I've been. My experiences are true for me, right? All of my childhood is they're true for me. And so my ancestry, the ways, the cultures, the norms of my people, every aspect of it that I have ever experienced, that's true for me. Like even the ones I can interact with, like for example, not knowing the language of my father, but it's still true that I am Kalanga, even if I can't speak the language, you know? So I kept returning to these small things that make me, and then joy would just start to come to me. And if I start to focus on these memories of us running in the yards with my grandfather, me sitting with my great grandmother, and she's cooking salsa for us, and and my great grandmother will tell us long stories in Kalanga. We would not understand anything, but we always knew they were funny and hilarious because she will laugh as she's telling us. That was the truth for me. So I will return to that, right? So I want to say this in the moment. Please share with me what is coming up for you when I ask what is true for you, because it's so easy to lose yourself, right? And we in our spirituality, we can lose ourselves with the details of like, I am this, I am that, this is my title, you know, and then you get lost in that. But truth is found within your personal experiences, right? So share with me wherever you are, what is true for you? What is truth for you, right? So mine is my my great grandmother, who is a symbol of my ancestry and the experiences I've had. That is also truth for me. And poetry. Oh, oh my God, my love. I love poetry. And I mean, the poetry that you will read on Instagram and the poetry that is like Shakespeare type of poetry. And I realized I haven't done that in a really long time. And I decided that I will return to this. I will return to this because it is my most primal self. When I'm my natural self, this act of poetry comes very naturally to me. And I even hired a poetry coach. If you ever want to dive deep and get like a writing or poetry coach, please send me a DM and I will recommend. I will literally send you the best coach of life because this woman opened me up and I started to write a lot of poetry. And I was learning so much about poetry, but more than anything, what has been happening with this poetry is a deeper affirmation that we are always channeling something beyond ourselves in our lives. We are. I say this because before I started working with my poetry coach, she just said, go and write 3 poems. And I went to write 3 poems. I have never studied literature, but I went to write 3 poems. And these poems, we will come later to come and study them and to see where I was coming from and what was the energy about. And there's a poem I wrote. It's called Self Portrait of a Few Astonishing Things. So this kind of poetry, self-portrait, is when you literally try to write a portrait of yourself, of who you think you are, right? Using poetry, and typically you will use 14 lines to share who you are. And this is where people usually identify themselves. It's where you will be like, I am a black woman. What is that poem of Lucille? Something about being a black woman and how every day something has always tried to kill her. yet she has survived. That's kind of like a self-portrait. Like you get an idea of who this person is and the kind of experiences she's had. In my self-portrait, of course, I wrote a lot about being a channel of spirit and being a medicine woman, and the both beauty of being a medicine woman and the pain of being a medicine woman. And when she came to have a discussion with me with this poem, she started to explain things to me, and I would start to realize I don't think I wrote this. I think that spirit wrote this, not me. Like Joy, the cautious self, couldn't have written this because then she will come and tell me, Joy, this is a beautiful alteration. This is a beautiful mirror. And from this is what I'm getting. And it will be so spot on. But I couldn't have known things called like alliterations and mirrors. I don't know what that is, but then I realized that within me, my muse, this energy exists, and she is smart and she knows the rules of poetry, but I couldn't have known them myself because I didn't study poetry in this year. But then, because I am connected to my ancestry, there is storytellers in my ancestry, and that wisdom exists somewhere within me. And if I allow myself, I can tap into that. Like if I've ever had any doubt whatsoever about is spirit real or not, when I started writing poetry, it was almost like it was proof because I kept telling her, I don't think I wrote this poem. I join money, I don't understand where that line comes from and what it actually really means. And what you're describing is like so surreal that it's like kind of like the truth. And then poetry became my truth, and poetry became the thing I fell into to one connect more deeply with my ancestry and the spirit that goes somewhere beyond myself, that consciousness. And um, the last part, something divine was happening, right in poetry. Something divine was happening, right? And that something divine is that there is some energy that works within all of us, some intelligence, some wisdom. And I speak a lot about this, but there's something different when you speak about it and when you witness it happening and you're just like, wow, it's real. Like there is an intelligence here, right? And this intelligence is doing some magic thing, and I am the vessel, right? And has been also true for me, another truth. I'm at the end of my truth. But what is true for me is that ever since I was a child, I think I remember the first time I met my baby sister. I was 3 years old. I don't think I know. I remember my mother bringing my baby sister to me, and I don't remember the words, but I remember the first time I looked at my baby sister as a 3-year-old, and how in that moment, with no language or adult understanding, I knew this baby comes from somewhere. And I love this baby who, you know, apparently is my sister. I don't even understand what my mom is saying when she said, "This is your baby sister." And I know that this is the most divine and perfect thing I would ever hold, my baby sister. And that if my baby sister is a divine, perfect thing who comes from somewhere, and then suddenly she's here, there is something, and that thing they call it God. And that was my proof, right? That thing is called God, and it's somewhere where we come from and somewhere where we are, right? And when my baby sister was a baby like that, she was perfect to me. She didn't have to do anything to earn my great love. I just loved her because my mom said, "Here's your baby sister." And that was true for me. That's my truth. And that truth is God is real. Yeah, and we don't like this conversation, but God is real. And God loves us, and there's nothing we need to do to earn the love of God, right? And the thing is, we came from God, But we like to think that we are separate from God because we're here, because God hasn't called you and say, hey, what's up? It's God from heaven. How are you doing down there? No. But I know that in the same way that one moment my sister wasn't there and the next moment she was, and that she continues to grow. Now I see her as a full adult who is like super brilliant. It's easy for me to speak about this because I don't have a child of my own, but my baby sister is someone outside myself who I have experienced her entire 26 years. I have was there from the moment she was born to now. And that has been like the love I feel for my baby sister, for my mother, for my father, is my proof that God is real and that there is something divine. We are divine beings. And that there's no experience in the universe that can ever take that from you. There's no experience in the universe that can take that. It's true that you could forget it. You can believe in a distorted idea that you have to prove yourself to God, you have to be worthy of the love of God, so many things, and you will get lost in that. But God is so simple, and God loves us so simply and so easily. And there is, once again, something else that is at work here, some intelligence, and that intelligence is at work in your life. I've seen it, it's at work in my life. 2020, I learned God in deeper ways than I've ever felt. Because with the God of 2020, I had felt such rage, such anger, such terror. Oh my God, a terror night. And then somehow they all calmed. And then there was the certainty that I come from somewhere. And so I will return to that somewhere. And that whatever intelligence has brought me here, that intelligence is brilliant, it's real, and it has designed me as I am today. And everything about me was designed by that intelligence. And so, if this intelligence can one day, out of the blue, create a being called joy, and this joy is now speaking to you, I must trust this intelligence, right? And I must trust its workings in my life. And I must trust whatever experience is coming through me, no matter how painful that is, right? I must trust this thing. And also, more than anything, I must surrender any form of like control that I think I really have on my life and allow myself to dive deep into communion with this intelligence and ask the intelligence, what is the next step, right? What is the next step? And the next step for me, God said to me, because I've been actually having very direct conversation with the man himself or the woman himself. I prefer saying the man himself only because from childhood, that's what I was told. And it's an energy that has never really shifted. And yeah, that's just about it. But I do know that I probably have a very limited idea of what God is, and that's okay. But what I do know is the magic that has happened in my life. That is God. That must be the workings of God. But God said to me, what do you love most in the world? And I said, I love conversations. This not in this order. I love conversations. I love poetry. I love knowledge, wisdom, spiritual wisdom, esoteric knowledge. I I am utterly obsessed with Africa as a country, as a continent, as a people. Every being who has been African, I am in utter reverence of them. Because what a soul we are for having chosen these bodies and these experiences in this continent that has experienced the most oppressive experiences that has ever happened in this planet. honestly, I am in utter reverence of us. Um, and to wake up every day to be of service to Africa and its people, that is truth for me. I'm okay with that. I can do that for the rest of my life. And I can doubt many things, but I could never ever doubt my love for Africa and my belief that Africans matter, they're important, and there is nothing wrong with us. And everything that has happened has a purpose, but at the same time, we did lose something. And because of that loss, we are free to act, to witness this losses we've had, these griefs we've had. But also we are also deeply, deeply so powerful because we have the power and the resilience to survive all of it. But more than anything, right now, with everything crippling, falling apart, there is a voice, an energy, a tempo, a music, a song within every single one of us. And this is why it feels like there's this big rupture of people returning to their African spirituality, connecting with their ancestors. It's because we know we lost something and we must return to our ancestry. Right? We must return to our customs, the natural ways that our people before the last 500 years happened, and the last 100 years happened, they must have been okay, right? And for what we do not know, we come to that great intelligence and we come to us and to learn more and to use that intelligence to heal and repair everything that we lost, right? And we understand it's a lifelong journey. Probably we will not finish it in our generation, but this must be part of the reason why we're born in these bodies as like people, right? And so this body of work I'm doing is uh, that return to our ancestry, because you see, our ancestry is divine, and there is nothing within us that is not divine. We are divine. We were made by God. We were made of God, and we will always be of God, of divinity. And so this work, this body of work, this show is I call it an attempt because I don't know if I will be successful. I actually do not really care if I'm successful in the ways that society has taught me and us. All I care about is that all of you here who are watching, you feel something, you connect to something from what I've shared, something shifts within you from what I'm saying, from what the other guests are going to say. I hope you reclaim a soul aspect, something of yourself. And you know that you are okay, you are good enough, you are loved. And if that's all you need to hear today, to continue, to keep going, to keep breathing, then this is good. This is good work. This is the work of God. Yeah. Yeah. So that is the return to ancestry and divinity. It's definitely a topic, a theme we will be exploring in the next season this year and in other future seasons we're going to have in the future. Maybe the theme will change, but for now I feel really good about this because this is what is resonating as truth for me right now, that we must return to our ancestry and our divinity, that we connect with our ancestry, we connect with our God energy, and in that space, we can see joy and feel liberation, freedom, whatever it is that you seek, whatever is your truth, right? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so I was on a roll there. Uh, Let me see, my loves, what you are sharing. Let me know what is speaking to you. And if you have a question, ask ask a question or a comment really on everything that I was just sharing. And please share with me what you would like to see in the show. Yes. Yes. 2020 has been scary and yes, growing in the flow, definitely. Transformational, yes. Yes, 2020 has been transformational. Ooh, yes. So this morning you were doing healing with the grandmothers, and the grandmothers was telling you to work more with them. Yes. Oh, I love this to me, what you're saying. You said to your grandmother, please work through me now, even if I don't quite understand it yet. Wow, love that. Do it, grandmother. I want it now. Ah, I resonate so deeply with that because I have been doing that with particularly God. I said, I'm here, work through me, you know. Just I am also very much done with the mental. I'm just like, let's do it, spirit. Mm. um, Yes, the poet Joy. I will be publishing my poetry soon, so I will share in my Facebook and my Instagram pages, not professional pages, my personal pages, of course. I am also Joy Muhani on Instagram. Please follow me because I will be sharing what I'm moving through as I feel called. Yeah. Jazz music for Dinero is what is true for you. I love that. Specific artists elevate my spirit. Yes, artists are literally the vessels of God as well. Yeah. So for you to me, pleasure is so delicious. Yes, we can heal through pleasure. I have seen this to be true. Yeah. I think you call it pleasure, I call it blood joy. Yeah. We can transform ourselves through pleasure and leaning more into pleasure can radically change the world. This is true, yes. That's what I've been feeling. The guides and God and my grandmother. That's what they've been saying. Like we sometimes think it's about let's go deep, dig, dig, but it could also be let's lean into what we desire and let's focus our energy into that, and our soul will work on us. It will heal us. And sometimes it's that energy of pleasure, of joy, of music, of poetry that we finally heal, like some parts of you come back to you, you know. Yeah. So yes, Constance, you were sharing about how the question is opening you up. This is good. If you're watching this, I want you to actually go and journal and meditate about this on what is true for you, because I've been doing that for the last couple of months and it keeps opening me up because it breaks me in the sense that I realize, wow, I actually don't know what is true for me. And then I did eventually find what is true for me, and it keeps growing, right? So um there is definitely that realization, but it will be revealed to you what is truth. And being a black woman is a truth. It's a powerful truth, right? Um, and I also want to say where you are, wherever you were born, there is a design. There's a reason why you were born in the US, for example, Constance, as a black woman. And it's not about trying to literally negate who we are, to negate your truth. It's to lean into it. If you are a black person born in the US, there must be a reason why that's the case, right? What if we leaned more into that because we decided to stop running from our lives and we realized that I am a Botswana born in Botswana for a reason. Like I might not know the exact reason, but there must be a reason. And instead of allowing that to torment me, I embrace it, right? So if you are a black sister in the US and feeling disconnected from your heritage and your ancestry because you are not here in Africa, I want to say your soul chose to be born in the US. and it's very difficult to understand this from a mental level. But there's a reason why you are in the family you are in, the bloodline you are in, the city you are in, the country you are in. And if there's something that has run true for me is that every single soul that has chosen to be black chose to be black. With all of its pain, its oppression, all of the experiences, we chose to be black in the places we are in. And that is a very empowering thing if you choose to look at it, because you are there for a reason. Yes. Yeah. So we come here as an attempt to return to lean more into who we are instead of trying to go out into the world and find out something new about ourselves. You don't need anything new about you. You just need to see that what that which you already are is God, it is love, it is real. Right? Yeah. So I feel you, warrior. Uh, and your desire to connect with Africa is already answered because you are here right now connecting with a girl in Botswana and other women from all around Africa. That is your way back. I want you to see that this is your way back. And this way is enough as it is, right? And your home is not so much of the physical thing, but what is inside you. And that's what we're returning to. It's the energy of our ancestry alive in us that we might have not been taught, but it is there, it is alive, right? And I hope that this show, Constance, helps you to feel this and opens you up. And I know definitely something will open up where you will finally feel like you have returned to the continent as that is your desire, right? It will be done. It will be done. Yes, yes, it might be for you that you were born in the US to come to Africa and to heal Africa here or to connect with your ancestry here. It could mean anything. But here's the thing that matters is what turns your soul on when you think about it, right? Whatever makes you more excited and exuberant, that's where you should lean into. Go there, right? But for the very fact that you desired to connect with Africa, you were somehow led to here, which is a starting point, which means your soul is working on you right now. Your ancestors are working on you right now because they let you here in some space, which is a small space. It's so easy not to see me, but you have found this community. So trust the divine intelligence that is working on you right now. Yes. So that is that, my love. I love what you're saying about what is the difference between this show and the work that I do on the mystery school. I have no idea. I don't know if there's any difference because I have decided to be joy in every space that I'm in, and I guess my show was probably going to be as vulnerable and as intense and very woohoo as I am in my mystery school where I teach everything spirituality, and I kind of always go on a riff like this, even in that in my mystery school. So if you are interested in being in an energy like this and getting to know God even more deeply connected with Temin, and you want to work with a community of other Black women, African women, women from all other races, but primarily Black women, then you should check out the Warrior Mystery School page in my website. We will be opening up for enrollment in November. Um, and so, yes, we will go deeper in there. But otherwise, we're going to go deep with all the guests that are coming. On Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we have a guest. His name is Heru Zenchi. He is a brother in the US, and we will be talking on the power of meditation. We had an amazing conversation, And we found so many similarities on how meditation has been really healing for us. So you want to come to this conversation because the whole time I was in conversation with him, I was just like, hey, I feel like this should be in the show. Like this is so good because we speak a lot of our one of the truth bombs he was dropping is the origin of meditation. I was like, yo, okay, let's hold up. We're gonna talk about this in the show. So come, we are still on the energy of mapping and archiving. Next week Tuesday and next week Friday we'll be here with Lebu Pule. If you're South African, you definitely know Lebu Pule, who is an amazing teacher who is all about helping you stretch in your heart and in your life. So she's coming and we're gonna talk about the mighty chakra system and we're gonna expand it and so that you can fully understand it and how it works in your life. And then my brother, I love this brother, Menzi Masefu, who will be joining me. He's from Swaziland next week, that other Tuesday. So he will be talking to me and you on the multidisciplinary approach to African healing. This brother knows so much about African history. You want to come. Like, I am so excited about all the three guests that are already coming and already ready to come and be in conversation with you. So come and join us every Tuesdays and Friday. Watch the replays on YouTube or listen to the podcast, download the podcast. This show itself will be going live tomorrow and you can rewatch it and you can just upload the podcast and just listen to it and just like be in that vibe, right? Yes. So you can go check out the website. Joy Mohami, go into series and go read about the show and the guests that I just told you about. And tell people, let them come here. Let's build a community for ourselves as African people. Let's heal, let's have some joy, some pleasure. Let's return to our ancestry and to divinity. And yeah, let me know what spoke to you today in the comments. If you're watching on Facebook, let me know. I would love to know. And yeah, that is amazing. If you absolutely adore me and you want to be in my vibe this Sunday, I will be doing two amazing epic things. At 9 a.m., I will be at the Inkaba Natural Healing page, and we're going to be talking about mental cleansing, mental well-being, essentially. So the psychologist in me is going to come out. Come join us at 9 a.m. on the Facebook page or on the Zoom. Check out my page to get the details on this conversation. And then that same day at 8 p.m., I will be at a poetry festival, the Lagos International Poetry Festival, and I will be in conversation because I am the queen of conversations with such big, amazing, beautiful poets, Malika Buka and Ara Silis Guinea. They are Black British poets, and I will be basically moderating a conversation on a meditation on healing and writing in a fractured world. So if you're like into poetry, this is the type of vibe. But even if you're not into poetry, you're into healing, this is also going to be so good. Come and join us 8 p.m. All these events are free. We're just here, just really trying to connect even more and find ways to heal ourselves. And yeah, I'm gonna be there. So come and join. Check out my page. Come and like. Let's go to the Tribe of Warriors. Tell me all the things you loved today in the Tribe of Warriors, and I will be in conversation with you there. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I will see you. Yes, Lego is so amazing. She literally said, Joy, I have to just go. I'm just like too in love with you. Like, you're just so cool. I'm just gonna go now because if we sit here, we will talk forever. She's the coolest woman of life. I love it also. Yes. So come, 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 come. Yeah, check out the website, subscribe so you can get the details on the newsletter. And I love you all. I love you all. Ooh, hello, hello, Coco Time. I'm going to have you here also. It's going to be so cool. I'm so excited to have you here. I will share with the humans next week more about you, and it's going to be awesome. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I absolutely honor you. I absolutely support you. I hope that you remember you're loved, you are loved, and you are loving always. Ashe. Good night, everyone.